Hello students, if you remember in last period we have finished the chapter AC circuits. Now we are going to start a new chapter, dual nature of radiation and matter. How the radiations have a dual nature and how the matter behave as a dual nature. If you remember, we have learned the chapter interference of light. If you remember, we have seen the interference of light. We have seen some phenomenon, diffraction of light, black body radiation, and at that time we have seen the strange behavior of waves. Sometimes light behave as a wave, sometimes lights behave as a particle. That part we have seen in Huygens principle, if you remember. Sometimes light, some phenomenons are there in physics that can be explained on the basis of light as a wave, and there are some phenomenon that cannot be explained by assuming light as a wave. We have to assume their light as a particle. So this type of nature, sometimes the light behave as a wave and sometimes the light behave as a particle. This dual nature we have already little bit learned. Now in detail how they will behave as a particle as well as a wave, that we have to learn in this chapter. So for that, let's start with the first point of the same chapter. Before starting the first point, just here in the introductory part, little bit different phenomenon they have just given for introduction. Then they have given a Planck quantum theory on which factor it depends, that everybody will know about that. Planck assumed that the energy of a light or any type of energy which come in the terms of packets, small packets or bundle. Each packet or bundle is said to be each packet of energy or bundle of energy is said to be photon, and every photon has an energy E equal to h nu, where E is the energy of photon, h is a Planck constant, nu is a frequency. From this equation we can say as frequency is more, that photon has more energy. Frequency is less, the photon has less energy. So this is nothing but a formula given by Max Planck quantum theory, and which says that the energy of a packets of energy, whatever be the energy of that one packet, single packet, that is said to be photon, it depends on frequency only. That is nothing but a Planck quantum theory. So that same they try to explain in terms of introductory part. Now let's go to the first topic of this chapter, that is photoelectric effect. Now as its name suggests that it is photoelectric, means it consists of two words, photo and electric, and their effect together, that is said to be photoelectric effect. What exactly it means? When light photon incident on some material, light photon incident on some material, for photon of light, photo word is used, the material, that some surfaces or some material emit electron, and that's why it is said to be electric for electron, and together it is said to be photoelectric effect. So what exactly photoelectric effect? When the light of certain frequency incident on a surface of certain material, then automatically that material emit electron, and this phenomenon get occur because of incident photon, incident light, and it will result into emission of electron. That's why the effect is said to be photoelectric effect. Same thing they have given in your book. If you see such type of material, they have taken square, and suppose we have, this is metal, suppose it has large number of electron. When the radiation of certain frequency incident on this electron get emitted, and this phenomenon of emission of the electron from a material, when certain frequency light incident on it, electron get emitted, and that emitted electron phenomenon is said to be photoelectric effect. But remember, while doing this phenomenon, radiation of certain frequency when incident, then and only then the electrons are emitted. Electrons are not emitted for all frequency. There is certain minimum frequency. If the incident frequency is greater than that minimum frequency, then and only then electrons are emitted. Then and only then we get a photoelectric effect. But the point to be remember, if you change the material, that minimum value of frequency above which the electrons are emitted, that get changes with the materials. So material get changed, that value of frequency also get changed. So see, they have given some example for such a material like cadmium, zinc, magnesium. When ultraviolet radiation incident on them, they have property that they will emit a electron. Some alkali metals are there, they also emit a electron. So to go in more detail about this, first of all, we must know who discovered this phenomenon. Heinrich Hertz. And Heinrich Hertz is the name of the experimental, or that means the Heinrich Hertz is a scientist who has invented this phenomenon first while studying the propagation or production of electromagnetic. Accidentally, this phenomenon was observed by Heinrich Hertz while performing the electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic wave emission studies. He observed that when ultraviolet radiation incident on some material, that material automatically emit an electron, and that phenomenon he gives the name as a photoelectric effect. Now, what are the experimental structure that he has used to find out this photoelectric effect? That experiment we are going to discuss. So in your book there is one page number 14.2. There is one figure. That figure I will draw in shortcut. I will draw that diagram. So such type of diagram it is. So this is nothing but a what quartz tube they have taken. To this side one metal plate they have taken like this. To this side another metal plate they have taken. This is said to be emitter. This is said to be collector, and they are connected here like this. They have connected them to the battery eliminator. So these are the two plate. One is said to be collector to collect the electron, other is said to be emitter to emit the electron. And finally they have just taken this two terminal and just they have make some arrangement here. So just they have taken this two terminal together, and here two-way key they have used. Such type of two-way key is there. Such type of two-way key they have shown in your book. If you see such type of, generally I am just going to draw, not exactly from the book. And to this the voltmeter we can connect the voltmeter here, and to the bottom part here we can connect the battery eliminator of whatever with the battery we want to connect. We can connect to the key. So such type of setup in short it is. Now here apart from this voltmeter we can connect here microammeter to note down the current also. So this to note the current, this to note the voltage. Now this quartz tube consists of one window. This is said to be window, and this window has a choice. It doesn't have opening. Here it is a cord glass is there, and that cord glass can pass a light waves. When light of certain frequency, this is one of the source of light they have taken as monochromatic source of light, which will emit light in all possible direction. When light from this source incident on this tube window and incident on this material like this. So these are the light wave incident on the cathode. It is said to be cathode. Cathode means negatively charged. Anode means positively charged. Cathode emit electrons, so it is said to be emitter. Anode collect electrons, so it is said to be collector. So when certain frequency waves, light wave incident from source to this the sensitive photosensitive material. Why it is said to be photosensitive? Because when light incident on this material is sensitive to that light, means it will emit electron if the frequency is greater than certain minimum frequency, and that certain minimum frequency is said to be threshold frequency. So suppose when this light waves incident on this material, this photosensitive emitter, if this frequency of incident radiation is nu is a frequency of incident radiation, and if this nu is greater than nu zero is minimum frequency required to emit an electron, then what will occur when incident frequency is greater than threshold frequency incident on the emitter, photosensitive emitter, it has a property to emit an electron. So these electrons are emitted by this. At the same time, the collector is at positive potential, this is negative potential. So negative repels. At the same time, the positive negative attract, and due to that, these electrons are quickly attracted toward the collector. Collector collect the electron, emitter emit the electron. But remember, emitter emit the electron only when incident frequency of radiation is greater than threshold frequency, certain minimum frequency for this material. If you change the material of emitter, this frequency gets changed, threshold frequency gets changed, is it? Now suppose light of frequency greater than threshold frequency incident on a photosensitive cathode, that is emitter, quickly it will emit electron, and quickly anode has a positive potential, it will attract the electron, and due to that some current flow to the circuit, and we can say whenever current is zero in the circuit, there is no photoelectric effect, no incident frequency is not greater than the threshold frequency. When we get current here in the macroammeter, means what? The electron get emitted from the emitter and collected by the collector, means photoelectric effect observed when current get flow through the circuit. Otherwise current is zero, there is no photoelectric effect. There are two reasons if there is no photoelectric effect. Either the incident radiation are incident on the emitter, but their frequency is less than the threshold frequency. Or second, no radiation incident on the emitter. There are two reasons when the current becomes zero. But when the current shown by this meter is non-zero, it means what? The photoelectric effect get observed. So this is simple. This is a simple, one of the simple instrument used by Heinrich Hertz to study the photoelectric effect. So I hope that all of you are well known about this, and sufficiently high frequency we have to use. This source has very high frequency, means low wavelength of the order of 10 raised to minus 7, 10 raised to power minus 7, that is meter. So this is nothing but what? In short, the how the photoelectric effect experimentally demonstrated by Hertz, Heinrich Hertz. The experimental demonstration of photoelectric effect we have seen. Afterward, lot of scientists in 19th century, they try to find out what is the photoelectric effect. They study it well, and finally they have drawn some conclusion from their experimentation, and that conclusion we have to discuss further in terms of summary. They have, in terms of some point they have mentioned it, we have to see that the observation from experiment on photoelectric effect. What are the observations observed by Hertz and other scientists in 19th century, that we have to learn. So just start with the one by one. So the first, when I will read and I will explain. When ultraviolet radiation was incident on emitter plate, current I was recorded even the intensity of radiation was very low. Photoelectric current I also observe only if the frequency of incident radiation was more than some threshold frequency. Nu is greater than nu zero. Nu zero was same for given metal, and it changes for different metals. It has different value for different metals used as an emitter. For a frequency greater than threshold frequency, incident radiation, no matter how feeble, how small was the light, that doesn't matter. Feeble means small light, however small intensity of radiation will be, electrons were always emitted. What does it mean? That already I have told you. Every material has certain minimum frequency that is said to be threshold frequency, represented by nu zero. If incident frequency of light we have represented by nu. When incident frequency of light is greater than threshold frequency, definitely electrons are emitted. How much will be the small light would be there? Now they have used here the intensity. What will be the intensity of light? If the incident frequency is greater than threshold frequency, electrons are always emitted. Now what is meant by intensity? Suppose one electron comes, only one electron. Here the 2 electrons are there. Here the 10 electrons are there. What does it mean? Number of electrons are increasing. 1 electron compared with the 2 electron, compared with the 10 electron. Which has a large number of electron? The third case. So this second, this third. Third case, electrons are more. So this, the third case, the electrons are more. Or we can say when more electrons are emitted, intensity of light is more. When less electrons are emitted, intensity of light is less. So intensity means what? Instead of electron, we can just take another way. If one photon get incident on photosensitive emitter, the 2 photons are incident, and at a time 10 photons are incident. Now in this case, number of photons are 1, intensity is less. Number of photons are 2, intensity is more than this. Number of photons are 10, so intensity is maximum. So intensity of light means what? A large number of photon incident at a time, then we can say the light is more intense. And remember, intensity, whatever be the intensity, less or more, it doesn't have effect on photoelectric effect unless and until incident frequency is greater than threshold frequency. Even small intensity, small one photon can emit electron. Okay, one photon even can emit electron if the incident frequency is greater than certain minimum frequency, threshold frequency. Okay, and if this nu is greater than nu zero, definitely all these 3 cases they will emit electron. For 1 photon, 1 electron get emitted. 2 photon, 2 electrons get emitted. 10 photon, 10 electrons get emitted. Accordingly, current get increased, and that current we are getting, that is due to photon. So that current is said to be photoelectric current, and electrons emitted are said to be photoelectron. Okay, is it clear? So we can say photoelectric effect is 1 photon, 1 electron phenomenon. For each photon, it will emit 1 electron. 10 photon, 10 electron. 100 photon, 100 electron. So 1 photon, 1 electron phenomenon this is. And remember, value of this threshold frequency is said to be threshold. Threshold frequency, value of this threshold frequency changes if we change the material. If suppose this is zinc, it has different value. If it is cadmium, it has different value. So material get changed, its threshold frequency get changed. So incident frequency will require more than the threshold frequency. Same thing they have mentioned in the first conclusion drawn from their experimentation. Now let's go to the second conclusion. What the experimentation gives, the second conclusion from their experiment that we have to lead. So there was no time lag. There was no time lag between the incident of light and emission of electron. The photocurrent started instantaneously within a 10 raised to minus 9 seconds on shining electron. Even the intensity of radiation was low. As soon as incident radiation was stopped, flow of current stopped. What does it mean? Second conclusion says that, this second conclusion they have drawn from the experimentation, which says that the process of incident light and emission of electron is very fast process. When light incident on a photosensitive material, quickly within 10 raised to minus 9 second the electrons are emitted. That is very fast process, instantaneous process. Instantly, very quickly electrons are emitted. So when incident radiation was emitted on a photosensitive cathode, within this time the electrons are emitted. That means the process is very fast. Point to be noted, again they have mentioned here, whatever be the intensity of light, for small intensity the electrons are emitted, but the condition is one, incident frequency must be greater than the threshold frequency. See, might be suppose in our class I have asked some question to any one student. There are some students, they quickly give the answer, their response time is very fast. There are some students, their response time is slow. There are some students, their response time is infinity. How it is infinity? Suppose I have asked the question to any one student, and for example, any one student from our class, and if that student doesn't know the answer of that question, then that student never give the answer to me. Okay, then what is the response time? It is very large, that means infinity. Some clever student in our class is there. I have asked the question, quickly that student will give the answer. So response time is very fast. Similarly, asking the question and giving the answer, the time between this, that is said to be response time. Similarly here, incident radiation and emission of electron, time between them, that is said to be this instantaneous time. The process is very fast, 10 raised to minus 9 second. That means 0.0098 times 0, 1. That is nothing but the response time of this. That is nothing but a very instant process, very fast process. That is observation observed by the scientist from the experimentation. Now let's go to third. If we keep the frequency of incident radiation constant greater than the threshold frequency, what we have done, frequency of incident radiation is greater than threshold frequency we have kept, and potential, the voltage across the two plate, that is said to be potential difference. Voltage, that is said to be potential difference between collector and emitter, that also we have kept constant. And we have changed, what we have changed then, we have increased the intensity of radiation. This I for intensity. Okay, if we increase the intensity of incident radiation and note down the current, this is intensity, we have increased the intensity, and the current we have noted down. It is seen that intensity increases, current also increases. Intensity decreases, photocurrent also decreases. What does it means? It says that as incident frequency is greater than threshold frequency, potential difference or voltage across the two plates is kept constant, and we have increased the intensity, photoelectric current increases. Decrease the intensity, photoelectric current decreases. It's common sense. If one photon incident, one electron get emitted. Two photon, two electron. So number of photon get increased means intensity get increased, current get increased. Number of photon get decreased, current get decreased. So that we can draw simple graph for this. If we take this along this y-axis, photocurrent we have taken, and here we have taken a intensity of incident light along x-axis. And it is seen that they are directly proportional. Photoelectric current is directly proportional to intensity of incident radiation. Photoelectric current is directly proportional to intensity of incident radiation. Why? Because this photoelectric effect is a one electron, one photon phenomenon. So this is the third observation they got from this experimentation. Now fourth, we have to see what is the fourth observation that I will read and then we'll see. Okay, so what they have say, photoelectric current could also be varied by changing a potential of collector plate. Okay, now suppose we have changed the collector plate potential, then how the photoelectric current changes, that we have to learn here. So just for that, you have to remember this diagram. Once you understand this graph, definitely you get idea about this. So this is a potential difference, here positive, here it becomes a negative, it is minus V, and here it is plus V. And this is nothing but what? Photoelectric current that was represented by I. Photoelectric current represented by I. Here, what is the potential? 0. Here it is positive, here it is negative. Okay. Now suppose when we start increasing a potential from positive, what will occur? The current will start from here somewhere, start and becomes increases up to certain value here, and after that it remains constant. It remains constant. Straight line they have shown. Then for this is for some intensity, suppose I0. Suppose this is for I0. If you change the intensity, it goes to upward I1, and this is for I2. So in all these three intensities, the common point is what? Common point is this: as we increase the intensity of incident radiation, what get increase? The value of current, for which value of photoelectric current, which is constant. So this constant value, this again for this I am going to draw, this is constant value. For this is the constant value. This constant value. So what will occur? As we increase the potential difference, current get increased. After some time it remains constant. And here also it remains constant, here it remains constant. Now what are these I0, I1, I2? So I0, I2 is intensity greater than I1 is greater than I0. So lowest intensity is what? You can't see here, I will write here. I2 is highest intensity, then I1 is higher than I0. So it is seen that in this case, if the potential difference gets changed with the current, it is seen that the current get increased. After some time it remains constant to the value, and the value for constant current is said to be, here it is said to be saturation current. That is said to be saturation. Saturation current is the value where current remains constant. Saturation current get increased from this place to this place when intensity increases from I0 to I1. Again change from this to this, if increase the intensity from I1 to I2, it comes here. So in short, as we change the potential difference, electric current increases. After some time it remains constant to certain value. That constant value of current is said to be saturation current. And if we increase the intensity, saturation current get increased like this. So same thing, intensity increases, I0 to I1 to I2, saturation current get increased here like this. And here, this is the positive part we have learned. If we go to negative part, if we make a potential negative, it is seen that all these three different intensity graph come like this, and they will meet at a single point. They will meet at a single point like this, and here this point is a point in negative potential difference where the photoelectric current is exactly 0. Photoelectric current is exactly 0, and this is said to be represented by V0, that they have not shown. Yes, they have shown V0 minus V0. It is said to be retarding potential. It is said to be retarding potential, or sometime it is said to be stopping potential. At this potential current gets stopped, current becomes 0. So it's retarding potential or stopping potential. So this is the phenomenon. This is the fourth point they have given in this. Now let's go to the next one, the fifth observation they observe from this, that we have to learn. So see what the fifth is: keeping the accelerating voltage and intensity fixed. If the intensity of incident radiation were increased, the value of saturation current also increased proportionally. That already I have shown here, I0, I1, I2. Same thing is here. The sixth one, maximum kinetic energy and hence the maximum velocity of electron depend on potential V for a given metal used for emitter plate and for given frequency of incident radiation. If material is changed, the frequency of incident radiation is changed. Maximum kinetic energy also get changed. It did not depend on intensity of incident radiation. Thus, even for a small incident intensity, If the frequency of incident radiation was larger than threshold frequency, kinetic energy is maximum from given surface was always same for a given incident frequency. What does it means? When we have kept the just what we want to increase, we want to increase the velocity of emitted electron. I will tell you in short. Suppose this is a emitter. I am not going to draw the tube and other thing, not going to draw. So this is an emitter, this is a collector. Okay, this radiation incident electrons are emitted. Now these electrons are emitted with some velocity. If the velocity of electron is v, okay, velocity of electron is v. When electron is emitted with maximum velocity, its velocity is v max. If the velocity is maximum, kinetic energy is 1 by 2 mv max square. And this velocity is maximum, so kinetic energy is set to maximum. So electron can be emitted with the maximum velocity or maximum kinetic energy when the potential difference applied across the collector and emitter is more. When potential difference is more, electron quickly get attracted here. So this is negatively charged, this is positively charged. If voltage applied between these two plates is maximum, the velocity become maximum, kinetic energy become maximum. That is the meaning to say. But this will occur when this incident frequency is greater than threshold frequency. It does not depend on intensity, that already we have learned. So this is the phenomenon they try to explain here, and that's why they have used the word Ke max. But point to be remember, if we change this material, definitely the new zero changes, new changes, and accordingly the value gets changed for different material. Okay, so same thing they have given the meaning of this conclusion they have drawn. The next one, if the increasing negative potential were applied to collector, negative potential to collector, what is meant by negative potential? It's very important point. This is an emitter and this is a collector. So see, this emitter is initially negative, this is positive. So electrons are captured by cathode, okay, or collector. Increasing negative potential will apply to collector. Now what they have done, the potential of collector is negative, they have kept, and this potential they have kept positive. Then what will occur, that we have to see. The photocurrent decreases and some typical value nu zero, photocurrent become a zero. And V0 is termed as cutoff or stopping potential or retarding potential. It introduced that potential was retarding. Photoelectron still had enough energy to overcome retarding electric field and reach the collector. Value of V0 was same for any incident intensity as long as incident frequency was same or material is same but different for different emitter material. Common sense. So see, electrons get emitted, the light incident, electrons get emitted, so electron has negative charge. Okay, when electron get emitted from this photosensitive cathode, we can say electron comes here. These are negative charge, these are negative charge. They try to oppose each other, but if the velocity of electron is maximum, velocity of this electron is maximum and this opposition potential is less, still this electron collide to the collector and some current get flow. But if we have increased the negative potential of cathode, or anode, if we have increased the negative potential of anode or collector, so that it will oppose the maximum velocity electron. If it will oppose the maximum velocity electron, then no electron can reach to the cathode, no any electron can reach to the anode or collector, and that's why there is no flow of current, and this will occur at the collector potential is minus V0. At this potential, minus V0 is sufficient to repel maximum velocity electron. So less than this, definitely get repelled and no electron reach the collector and no current will flow. That they have to tell you here, and that we have seen in negative part V0 of the diagram that we have drawn, stopping potential or retarding potential. Next, if the frequency of incident radiation was changed, the next conclusion we have to see, if the frequency of incident radiation was changed, keeping the intensity accelerating potential constant, then saturation current remains same but stopping potential changes. This observation depicted that the stopping potential varies linear with the frequency. For different metal, the slopes such as straight line were same, but the intercept of frequency and stopping potentials are different. What does it mean? I will tell you. Just we will draw the diagram for this. So let us draw the diagram for this. So such type of diagram we have to see. This is nothing, just I will draw it again. So this is nothing but a stopping potential, potential difference positive in this direction, and here it is 0. Stopping potential, here it is in this direction, it is minus V. Okay, and definitely this y-axis contain the photoelectric current I. So this is the diagram, and from this diagram, from this graph, I will tell you what is the meaning of this 8 point. Okay, so suppose as we have seen, accelerating potential increases, the value of current get increased to some value, it get increases and remains constant. So this is a constant value. Now here this is nothing but saturation current, I sat. Suppose I sat means saturation current, and what we assume in this 8 point, we assume that intensity is constant. Intensity of light is kept constant. Intensity of light is kept constant, and what get varied? We have frequency get change. Frequency change. Now if we see frequency changes, suppose they have taken 3 frequency, mu3, mu2, mu1, mu3, mu2, mu1, and these are greater than this. Mu3 is highest frequency, mu1 is the lowest frequency. It is seen that as we change the frequency, saturation current remains same. In initial case, if you remember, we change the intensity, saturation current get increases. Okay, in that case. But in case of frequency, if we increase the frequency, saturation current remains same. But its stopping potential get changes. That is very interesting point here. Stopping potential changes means what? It comes here like this, 1 point. It comes here like this, 2 point. It goes here like this, 3 point. All these three are the stopping potentials. All these three are the stopping potentials. So what are these? This is said to be V1, this is said to be V2, and this is said to be V3. V1 is a stopping potential minus minus minus. V1 is a stopping potential for frequency nu1. V2 is a stopping potential for V2. V3 is a stopping potential for V3. From this what we can say? Why the stopping potential get increased? If you remember at the start we have seen Max Planck quantum theory, E equal to h nu. Energy of photon, okay, energy of any photon depends on this frequency. If the frequency get increased, what get occur? That photon has more energy. If it has more energy, electron get emitted with more energy. So see, here nu3 is the frequency which is highest among this. And that's why the energy of nu3 frequency is more, and that's why it will require a more negative potential V3 to stop the electron. And nu1 has a less value of frequency, so it required a less negative potential to stop. That is nothing but the basic concept behind this, and this was explained as a 8th topic of your syllabus. Okay, 8 observation taken from the experiment in 19th century about this photoelectric effect. Now the last one we have to learn. The photoelectric current and hence number of electrons depend on intensity but not on frequency. Photocurrent and number of electrons dependent on intensity, that already I have told. One photon, one electron, 10 photon, 10 electron, means number of photon get increased, intensity get increased, the number of electron emitted get increased, photoelectric current get increased. The same thing they have mentioned, but not on a frequency of incident radiation. As long as incident frequency was larger than the threshold frequency nu0 and potential of anode was higher than that of cathode, then we can say the photoelectron emitted in terms of here photocurrent does not depend on frequency, it depends on intensity. Intensity is more photon incident, more electron emitted, more photoelectric current we get. Apart from this, there is one equation, there is one graph they have shown 14.6 stopping potential as a function of frequency. The same, it is very simple graph, just I will tell you. So this is nothing but what the graph they have shown. I will going to draw it here. So here they have taken a frequency nu taken along y-axis, and the stopping potential or retarding potential V is taken along y-axis. It is seen that for certain material we can draw the graph like this. Suppose this is a metal A, for one material A, and this for another material B. The stopping potential depend on frequency like this. How it depend on frequency, that we have to see. So see, frequency is more, threshold frequency is more, definitely the topping potential required is more. It is VB and this is for VA. Same thing just I have told you before this graph. I have shown one another graph. Saturation current remains same. Threshold frequency is more and more negative according to their frequency. Same thing they have shown here. Apart from this, there are some this phenomenon was tried to explain on the basis of wave theory to explain the observation. This observation we have learned about this photoelectric effect from the experiment. This observation, 9 observation we have read up till now, studied we have up till now. How the wave theory was failed to explain this observation of photoelectric effect, that we have to see in next period. So that part topic we will start because already 35 minutes are over. So I think we have to stop here, and next period we will see how this wave theory is failed to explain the photoelectric effect. Okay, that we'll see. So what you have to do, you have to watch the video first, then read the same topic from the book, and again watch the video. It will increase your concept. Okay, let's see you in the next video. Thank you.